And now from lovely Three Forks, Montana, Todd the Vinyl Junkie, with a face for radio and a voice for silent movies. Now your host, the Vinyl Junkie himself, Todd.
Hello, everybody. So here's some of the great video from England that I took while we were touring the SME plant. These pictures are from Bramber and Steining. I stayed at a hotel in Bramber. SME is located in Steining. It was a very charming place. So here you see the SME building, front doors, very welcoming. It was a great trip. Now we're going to look at some of the turntable setups and stuff. They were very gracious and showed us many of the fine turntables they make. Let us listen to them. Let us get some hands-on with them. And Chad Stelly was awesome. He works for Bluebird Music. He does most of the setup and does a lot of the talking that you're going to hear to help you. And here's Chad here. This is him. And this is the group of people that I was with for the tour. So here Chad is going to start introducing us to the Model 6. This is a Model 6 Classic with the M2-9R tonearm.
The older original units that used the DC motors, when they went to the AC motors, on all of the units, the size of the inner platter changed. So the belts are unique to the Mark II units. This is going to be catching it. So I always put them over the spindle and then just feed it, just like that. And on this one you can turn it here, but on some of the bigger units I like to make slow rotations here and just feed the belt around. I use a lot of advanced, elliptical shape MCs. Right. And you know what, I'm a transimpedance junkie, so right. They're getting loaded stiffly, and they put a lot of energy into the arm. Right. And I like the way the energy management of the clamp system works. Okay. But this thing is dynamite. And there's you can play with different types of interface washers. There's different head shells you can use on this. This arm technically is better. Okay. The lateral stability of the tracking force system, the arm is extremely stable. And one of the nice things about it, with all of the SME tone arms, and we were talking about this last night, the interaction amongst all the setup variables, they're more stable on an SME arm than any other arm. For instance, when you change the overhang, this fulcrum never changes. So it's just, things stay a bit more stable.
It removes an entire variable from the finickiness of you holding the cartridge on the head shell, and it also removes the responsibility of those screws.
Yeah.
Right. Like now, you have one less variable that's dependent on even on the tightness of that screw. Maybe it backs out, whatever.
Right.
Like it's just pretty.
Right. I'm going to mention is the footers on the Model 6. It's a unique material. It's not sorbethane. It's a special. Comes from a company that manufactures mounts for jet engines and things like that. It's an industrial company that makes these. It's the same company that actually makes the purpose molded O-rings that are used in all of the suspensions for the SME turntables. They make this foot. And they'll tell you at the factory about all the different tests that they put this footer through, but it will outlive us. This footer will not deform. Different temperatures and chemical environments. Through all the tests, they put this thing under extreme compression. It always restored itself to the original shape. And part of that shape is the contour on the tip of it. It's actually self-leveling because of the durometer and the shape of that footer. So as long as your shelf is level, the turntable will be perfectly level.
You do have screw adjustment though if you need? No, you don't? Okay. What about the suspension on that? Is there any...
No, the footer... It's completely decoupled. So this footer completely decouples the plinth from the shelf. But you do want your shelf level for the turntable to be level. And then head shell plugs in here. And you've got 2 reference pins on this. One at 12 o'clock and one at 6 o'clock. Some of these head shells will only have 1 pin. But having 2 makes it a little bit nicer. And just behind here is another screw where you can do a slight azimuth adjust on the head shell if you need to. It's located just right back here.
Okay, it's behind the collar.
Yeah. And the way the tracking force is done on this guy, so you've got some silicon damping. This is put over the end stub of the rear of the tonearm to protect the threads, and there is a little bit of silicon that's put on those threads. But the counterweight, this is the main one here. It just simply threads on there. And the tracking force is actually applied with this lateral bar here. So each click is 1/4 gram. And it's in the manual how to apply it, which the reference points are. But this thing is capable of an extremely broad range of cartridge weights. This whole anti-skating arrangement, you want everything to be at a 90 degree when you're at the lead-in groove.
What adjustments control that?
You can move the little.
You can move
Like
the
the
hanger.
whole assembly.
No, you
No,
can move that
let me-
little.
I'll show you.
little- By loosening the
I'll
screw
show you that.
inside, you can shift the little pulley.
So our overhang,
Yes.
Okay, got it.
our overhang is achieved by loosening up these base screws. And then that allows you to move the arm forwards and backwards in its channel.
I see.
Now this innermost mount also supports this hanger. So you can see I'm rotating
I see. So
it
that's
on there.
another. That's
Yeah.
another point of adjustment to get your.
Yes.
Perpendicular.
So the hanger will move and the pulley on top of it can move.
Okay.
Okay? And just for the eyeball of a well set up table, supply here, and when you're here, wherever that pulley is, wherever your anti-skating weight, your commensurate anti-skating setting, you want to have this pulley exactly 90 degrees away from this point along that continuum. So everything is at, this cord is coming off at a right angle when you're at the leading groove. And what you'll see is through the range of motion of that arm, you're using the most linear part of the anti-skating weight. With the cartridge in here, you would just slide the HTA forwards and backwards until you're square at both locations. So it's a little bit more rudimentary stylus gauge than the other ones, but it's equally as effective. Yeah, here you're going to be square in both places. So just roughly eyeballing it, but when the cartridge is mounted, you'll see if you're too far one way, you won't be able to get square in both positions. So you'll just adjust the HTA here so that when you hit both target zones, you're squared up. Where the 2 umbilical cords connect, the input and output. And the umbilical cords are different than the ones that come on the Model 60. So everything from the 12 to the 3012, all 5 of those units use a different set of umbilical cords. And the input is a 5-pin and the output is a 4-pin. So going from the power unit to the controller is going to be cable A, and then there's a cable B for the second run. The frequency of the motor for your speed changes, the amplitude, which has a lot to do, it's like your volume, how much torque the motor is receiving, and then they can fine-tune the phase characteristics of the outputs specifically for the motors themselves. They're individually tuned. And there's actually a service bulletin if you ever do have to change one of these things and you can feel your motor has a slight pulse to it. You can go in here and there's a series of push buttons, and you can ask Brian when you're doing the factory tour, he can show you where those are. But there will be a bulletin where you can engage these two buttons until the lights start to blink, and then you can pulse the two buttons back and forth until you get the motor with your fingers on it to be completely still. So, and apparently when Paul Miller tested the 60 for Hi-Fi News and Record Review, they had not optimized the phase for that motor, and it still hit the numbers it did. So it's just a little built-in reserve.
Don't forget to visit the TTVJ Audio website and sign up for our newsletter. Keep up to date with new products, sales, and loaner programs. Thanks for watching.